Assassin's Creed is a franchise that you are probably going to be hearing a lot about over the next few years, which is a good thing if you're a fan of the franchise or if you're new to it. Not only are there dozens, okay, no, I don't want to exaggerate. There's over a dozen Assassin's Creed games in development right now, but the franchise may end up being Ubisoft's ticket out of the financial mess they found themselves in after a string of high-budget flops. But is the AC franchise only going to be moving forward in time? Is it just going to be trying new things? Or is Ubisoft going to jump on the remake trend as a way to bring back old fans to the IP? Welcome to the channel, everybody. Chaos here. Today, we are going on a deep Assassin's Creed dive. Everything. We're covering everything from the potential remaster or remake of the original Assassin's Creed, including when you can expect to see it. How will it fit into everything else on Ubisoft's schedule, and a lot more. Stick around to the end of the video, because there is a lot to cover here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and you let me know in the comments if you would actually want to revisit the original Assassin's Creed game. Drop a like, and here we go. Now, in case you're out of the loop, Ubisoft is a pretty rocky place right now. Earlier this year, it was announced that the upcoming flagship Ubisoft game Skull and Bones has been delayed for you ready for this? 6th time. And the release date is now sitting somewhere in the vast ocean of 2024. But that's not all Ubisoft did. They also pushed back Avatar Frontiers of Pandora and reportedly canceled another batch of unannounced projects. This was all done for a reason. It was done in an effort to cut over $100 million from their yearly budget following an extremely disappointing 2022 financial report and a desperate need to get back on track. Now, Ubisoft has had some big hits over the last decade. You've got Far Cry 5, the rebooted Assassin's Creed trilogy, but other than that, they've been struggle busting a little bit. Far Cry New Dawn? Nope. Far Cry 6? It didn't really impress financially, and Watch Dogs Legion reportedly underperformed as well. How many of you even remember Rainbow Six Extraction? Seriously, raise your hand. Now, on top of that, the budgets for Ubisoft projects keep going up while getting delayed over and over again, and people are losing the ability to care, or the want to care. The publisher seriously needs to get back on track. And they've made it no secret that they intend on using Assassin's Creed as that catapult, as that jumping off point. There are a ton of Assassin's Creed games in development, as well as a new Assassin's Creed Infinity platform, which we'll touch on in a little bit. Long story short, Ubisoft is in the mud. Assassin's Creed is their ticket out of the mud. Now let's talk about the remaster. The rumors of a remaster or a remake of the original Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed 1, where it all started. Well, those rumors started circulating the internet a couple years ago. There was a string of remakes and remasters that were going to get announced, but the internet exploded in 2022. And that was when Ubisoft themselves seemed to accidentally leak and confirm that one was in development. Ubisoft released an AC anniversary video in 2022, and it was meant to celebrate the franchise's 15 years on the market, and during that video, there was a sequence from the first game, but it did not take long for the eagle eyes of the internet to realize that that brief AC1 sequence in the anniversary looked way better than the 2007 original. Greatly improved lighting and what seemed to be improved textures as well, which sent people into a frenzy. A frenzy about AC1 remake being in development, and Ubisoft kept quiet. Now, how things got rather confusing when Ubisoft themselves came out shortly afterwards and issued a statement saying there is no AC1 remake in development. And looking back at the statement, it's a little strange that they came right out and said, no, it's not in development. But then they offered no explanation as to why AC1, that sequence in the anniversary video, looks so much better than the original 2007 version. But the internet's message to Ubisoft has been sent. They want it. They want an AC1 remake. So even if there wasn't one at that point, Ubisoft has to have a pulse with the community, and they have to look and say, okay, there isn't, but my gosh, everybody wants it. Let's greenlight it right now and get it started. Now, even though Ubisoft claimed that it wasn't in development, a number of industry insiders were running stories about the potential for one, with some even claiming there was actually one in development, and they lied. But the status of it was unknown, or that work had been slowed down in order to allocate more resources to new projects. Now, we still don't have a solid explanation as to why AC1 looks so freaking good in the anniversary video, but we also can't seem to get a solid answer as to whether or not the AC1 remake exists at all. So honestly, I really don't know what Ubisoft is up to with that. Now, in order to understand where the Assassin's Creed 1 remake would factor into the franchise, we have to talk a little bit about where the franchise is going right now. What's coming up? As many of you probably know, the next mainline Assassin's Creed game is AC Mirage, which is going to drop later this year. Now, many of us were expecting to get our hands on this game in August, but it was just leaked by none other than Tom Henderson that Ubisoft is planning on pushing that game back a few months to go along with the upcoming Assassin's Creed VR game that's titled AC Nexus. Now, it's not 100% confirmed right now why this delay is happening, but if I had to guess, I would say that's something to do with the recent rumors about AC Mirage being incorporated in the upcoming AC Infinity platform. Now, AC Infinity is basically going to serve as a massive hub world for all the upcoming Assassin's Creed games. If you're familiar with Marvel and the multiverse, kind of think of it on that line a little bit. Allow players to launch each game from Infinity, while also providing, hopefully, a bit of additional story elements to tie them all together. Hopefully an overarching story going on in the background that culminates in something cool down the road. Up until this point, Ubisoft has maintained that AC Codename Red is going to be the first new Assassin's Creed game to launch through the Infinity platform. But a few weeks ago, we started hearing rumors from trusted industry insiders that those plans have changed. And they're now intending on using AC Mirage as that kickoff point for Infinity. Now, granted, this doesn't mean Infinity is going to launch at the same time as Mirage. Rather, I think Mirage is going to be available on Infinity from the time that Infinity launches, if that makes sense to you guys. So AC Mirage launches later this year in October. But once AC Infinity launches in 2024, Mirage will be playable day one. Now, that being said, Ubisoft likely has to do some extra development work in order to get Mirage compatible with the Infinity platform. So delaying the launch by a couple months, that makes sense. According to Tom Henderson, the game has been internally delayed from August to October, which sounds like they just need a little more time to polish things. I know we've heard that so many times. And make sure that the Infinity integration is close to being done, or as close as possible. I think there's actually one more reason for the delay, though. I do. And nobody's really talking about it as much, but I definitely think it factors. It's actually two things: Starfield and Spider-Man. Now, as I'm sure all of you are aware, Starfield and Spider-Man 2 are the biggest AAA releases scheduled for 2023, and they're both likely going to drop in September, likely within mere weeks of each other, if not even less than that. Now, Starfield is an Xbox console exclusive. Spider-Man is a PlayStation console exclusive. They aren't going to be directly competing with one another, but since Assassin's Creed is going to launch on both the PlayStation and the Xbox, Ubisoft likely wants to reschedule that and make it clear. They do not want to get eaten up by the competition. And these are two huge juggernauts that are launching. As much as people love Assassin's Creed, Mirage likely is not going to be able to go head-to-head with both Spider-Man and Starfield at the same time. So launching the game in August, just a few weeks before that massive showdown, probably not the best calculated move. Now, honestly, I think pushing the game back to October is an excellent call, because not only does it allow the developers more time to make sure everything is up and running to the best of their ability, but it also means people won't be passing up on Assassin's Creed because they're saving their $70 for Spidey or Starfield. So even though Ubisoft hasn't officially confirmed the release date for Mirage yet, they're going to drop it on us soon, probably at the upcoming Summer Game Showcases. And when they do, don't be shocked if it's in October or November as opposed to August or September, because nobody wants to get caught in the crossfire that will be Starfield and Spider-Man. But what is Ubisoft doing after Mirage comes out? What is their plan now that Mirage is being pushed back and incorporated into Infinity? Well, we know Infinity is likely going to launch in 2024. We also know Codename Red, which I'm actually excited for, is going to launch in 2024 as well at the absolute earliest. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it gets pushed to 2025, given how massive it's supposed to be. But aside from that, there's a number of other AC games in development spanning from small-scale stealth-based games to big open-world RPGs and even a couple mobile and VR spinoffs. Let me ask you really quick. Are you more of the stealth-based OG Assassins vibe, or are you more of the Odyssey Origins big open-world RPG Assassins vibe? Me personally, most of you already know if you've been here before, Odyssey is one of my favorite games of all time. Now, Assassin's Creed Nexus, the first AC VR title, will likely be released within the next year and a half, but according to trusted industry insiders, Ubisoft has already greenlit a sequel, so they're going to go all in on Assassin's Creed VR. Makes sense. Doing parkour in VR sounds like a headache, but I know I'm not the only one who would love to see all the franchise's historical landmarks with my own eyes, which I think is going to be the main selling point of Nexus in the sequel. Now, Infinity is also going to do its best to tie everything together, create some kind of overarching narrative, possibly even introducing an Assassin's Creed multiverse like I talked about earlier, but that's probably a topic for another day. In fact, it's one that I've already made about a week ago, and you can go watch it on the channel if you want. Ubisoft is really trying to turn Assassin's Creed into this massive, diverse franchise spanning multiple genres, multiple time periods, but that raises one big question, my friends. where does this Assassin's Creed 1 remaster fit into all this? Well, personally, I think a remaster or remake of AC1 is a golden idea. The original Assassin's Creed was released in the early years of the 360 and the PS3. It would greatly benefit from a massive update, not only to the visuals, but it's got somewhat outdated gameplay mechanics. Many of you probably haven't played the OG Assassin's Creed recently. Well, let me tell you, it didn't age well. The combat's janky, the movement's very clunky, and the level design, well, it leaves a lot to be desired. The story, fantastic. The world is engaging, but it wasn't until Assassin's Creed 2 that the gameplay really locked and loaded. With Assassin's Creed gearing up for its big comeback tour next year, I think this is a perfect time for Ubisoft to remind us all of where it started with either a hefty remaster of the original game or a full-on top-to-bottom remake that adjusts the outdated gameplay. Especially with upcoming projects like Mirage that are reportedly going to be scaled back and returning to a more stealth-based gameplay loop, Ubisoft would make bank off a remaster or remake of the original. Plus, we're currently living in an era of remakes. Dead Space, Resident Evil 4, two of the best reviewed games of 2023, both are remakes. Why not give the remake treatment to a franchise that we're going to be hearing a ton about over the next few years? I also find it a little bit strange that Ubisoft decided to remaster Assassin's Creed 3 a few years ago, but not the original. I mean, AC3 is widely seen as one of the weaker entries in the main series, I'm pretty sure, but that game got a remaster. Why not the original? Seriously, makes no sense. A remaster remake of the OG AC is a slam dunk idea, and I really hope that Ubisoft isn't already working on it. I hope they're already working on it. If they're not already working on it, I hope they're at least considering the possibility. I agree with many gamers that remakes and remasters are getting old, but honestly, the original Assassin's Creed would seriously benefit from one. I am totally in support if they announce this. So, assuming the AC1 remaster does well, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised or shocked for Ubisoft to continue the trend and start breathing new life into classic AC games. Look at what freaking Resident Evil is doing right down the line, just counting them off. In fact, there's one AC game in particular I think the studio may already be looking into for some kind of revival, and guess which one that is? Black Flag. Skull and Bones, the upcoming Ubisoft pirate adventure, originally started development as a spiritual successor to AC Black Flag. Yeah, Black Flag 2. And while it's obviously spun into this very different project, we still have no clue where it is. There's a lot of money to be made in a good pirate video game because there really isn't a lot of competition for good pirate video games. Pirate games are awesome, but there aren't a whole lot of them out there. And many people still consider Black Flag to be the best of that genre. Ubisoft also recently confirmed that there's going to be a sequel webcomic to AC Black Flag in the near future, so it is on their mind. It is on the desk. An announcement that came entirely out of nowhere, generated a lot of hype because people love this game. AC Black Flag is not only seen as one of the best pirate games of all time, but it's also one of the best Assassin's Creed games as well, so it shouldn't be shocking that Ubisoft all of a sudden decided to make a sequel comic based on that part of the timeline. Could this be them setting the stage for a future remaster? Yes, it could. Skull and Bones may end up being great. It may end up being a flop. I don't know. But if they needed to turn to a good pirate game, you have Black Flag. There really isn't much hype surrounding Skull and Bones anymore when you look online, but I guarantee if Skull and Bones came out and then Ubisoft announced a remaster of Black Flag, people would flock to it. Kind of a precursor of what's to come. Plus, it would be nice. It would be a nice poetic way for the game to come full circle. Skull and Bones started as a successor to Black Flag, and then it serves as a nice little lead-in to the return of Black Flag. So let's break all this down. Like I said in the beginning of the video, Ubisoft has their plate full for the next 3 to 5 years. If it all works out, and they can tie everything into this Infinity platform, it opens the door in the realm of possibility to anything. We've already talked about how some of these universes are going to start tying into what it could be with the movies, like Marvel and the MCU tying in, Across the Spider-Verse tying in with Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man on the PlayStation. The options are limitless. They really, really are. What if they wanted to revisit and retry Assassin's Creed on the big screen, or an HBO series, or a Netflix series, or anything like that? What if they went that route and then they started tying all that in with the games and what they're doing in the Infinity platform? I'm telling you right now, if they play their cards right and they do this the right way, Assassin's Creed could be that next franchise. We're talking about a 15-year-old franchise that's already been there and back, but they could literally start it all over again. Everybody loves the story. Everybody loves the assassins. They love the time periods. They love everything about it. It just has to be put together. And it's easy to say that their ambitions are way, way up there. So you guys let me know. What do you think? There are still a ton of other games that we'll cover in future videos. But right now, it's all eyes on Mirage. It's all eyes on Codename Red. And it's all eyes on the Infinity platform. We also, I mean, who's ready to go to feudal Japan? Let's just leave you with that, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative. If you want me to dive in anything else that comes out about it, you definitely let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys soon.